But yeah, it just doesn't work. And then in tying that in with the Ba Sing Se plot point, how it works in the animated show, they didn't have Appa at that point in episode 12 of the animated
that's
series.
why they couldn't like use Appa, and they had to fight the serpent.
And then when you see what happens to Appa in Appa Alone, Tales of Ba Sing Se with Momo, and how every time Azula shows up on screen, it's something menacing. It's her dastardly scheming nature. Because she comes across the Kyoshi warriors who saves Appa, but then they tell Appa to go away, and that's how he gets into Ba Sing Se. Then you see Team Azula, they were able to defeat the Kyoshi warriors, and the next time you see them, they're already in Ba Sing Se. So it's like, oh my gosh, Azula's just like unstoppable in the animated show, and it just makes her character seem way more menacing than basically the entitled... Oh, you were going to say something?
No, like the entitled, murderous, psycho, I'm going to kill my brother. Like, now I'm conflicted because of my mother. Like, I'm just going to make my friends kill each other just to see if they're loyal to me. Whole plot. I'm like, what is with, I guess like number 3. Like, what is with this Azula? Like, I don't get the same, like, tactical menace that she is in the cartoon versus in the live action. It feels like she's kind of just like a psycho killer, just do whatever I want, daddy issues kind of type or something. And I'm like, that doesn't hit the same, because like that doesn't warrant respect. That warrants like fear to a certain degree. While as in the cartoon, she was respected. She was a firebending prodigy who wasn't only a beast on the field, she was a beast on the war table as well. And I'm not getting that like in the same way in the live action. And I can respect, I think that the way the actress portrays Azula, she's trying to keep it as close to the cartoon as possible, but it just doesn't hit. Like the way that she,
it works to her detriment, because it comes across as an actor trying to be like the animated Azula versus an actor who actually embodies what Azula is. And one, to talk about the casting, totally miscast. And that was a big criticism we had in our season 1 review, that this is not Azula, physically and figuratively. She's way too chubby. She doesn't look like Azula. Somebody who does is probably too old for the role. Do you know Akeakamai?
Akeakamai as Azula?
I mean, she's too old for what they were doing in the show, because it's obviously kids, but she has the more look that's slender and not chubby, square looking. Mai was completely miscast. She is not the build of Mai. And even Zuko's other interest, Jin, she looks way too old for Zuko. It's like, what are you doing? Oh. And then the line that they have with Faye and the other the kid who in the animated show is Lee, but I forget what they call him in here.
Which one?
When Zuko is helping build the house and do the dishes for Faye and the kid.
Yes, yeah.
Because that girl technically looks more like May than the girl who they cast for May, even though the acting is really all across the board for the show. Like even Katara, like she has moments in this live action where it looks like she breaks and she's kind of like breaking character. And some of the line delivery of Faye wasn't good, but it was just miscast for so much of it. And even like Ty Lee was, she's all right. Zuko as a kid, he's clearly Filipino, when as an adult, he's not Filipino. And then Azula as a kid, kind of makes sense, but facial structure completely changes. And then the whole backstory between Azula, the mom, Ozai, they tried to make Azula more sympathetic, but they totally miss what she is in the animated show that made her probably one of my favorite characters. That she's so ruthless and focused on being a perfectionist, and that she doesn't really care about Zuko's actions. She just focused on her own motives. Versus in this show, and a big criticism that we had, that she came across way more as petty in season 1, and in this season 2, she's just reckless. And they try to construct the scenes to make it seem like she's smart and she's 5 steps ahead of everybody, but it's so contrived in this live action, because she wants to pin May and Ty Lee against one another when they're already loyal to her. And in the animated show, she smartly alters May's career path to make it more hard for her to do what she wants to do and make it better for what Azula wants to do.
And with Ty Lee, she makes because
because of the circus stuff.
I can't remember how May, pardon me, I don't remember the cartoon as much as you probably do.
Yeah, so what happens is May's family conquered and was given Omashu. But then May's just so like uninterested because she's basically the goth, nothing in this world matters kind of character in the show. So when Azula asks her to join in, she's like, oh yeah, awesome. But then they also have a plot line of where May's younger brother gets stolen by the rebels who have the Avatar. And Azula doesn't realize that they're fighting the Avatar until it's that first confrontation in Omashu where they're fighting on like the conveyor belt stone thing. And that's how May joins Team Azula. But then with
Ty Lee, she messes with her
thing
in her circus career.
Yeah.
And it kind of becomes like a whole like, all right, like I'm testing you, Ty Lee, like what are you gonna do? And all this kind of stuff, right?
Well, she's way more cunning in the animated show because Ty Lee says that, oh no, I really am, this is my aura's never been brighter. This is what I'm supposed to do in the circus. But then Azula's like, okay, that's totally fine, but definitely put on a great show for me tonight. Because Ty Lee doesn't expect Azula to come, but through Azula's strategy, she manipulates the circus act, lights the safety net on fire. She unleashes all the beasts. And obviously Ty Lee's a skillful acrobatist, so she is able to overcome those things. But then when Azula says, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to your show tomorrow, hopefully it's even better, Ty Lee, understandably, wants to join Team Azula because she knows that Azula just wants her to join her team. And every time you see Team Azula in the animated series, they're a force to be reckoned with. And Azula's conveyed way more as a smart character. Even how she confronts Long Feng and the Dai Li, it's way more satisfying, fulfilling, and compelling in the animated show because she uses the Dai Li against Long Feng. Yeah. And the Dai Li begin to respect her because she's ruthless. She's not a psychopath who kills generals willy-nilly. Like how they
literally did. And the thing, she just lightning bent all of them. And I had to rewind that because I was like, did she just kill all of them? Like,
yeah. And then she lit Judy on fire. Versus how, because that's how they figure out she's a firebender at first. Versus how they did it in the animated show, she tells Ty Lee and May to talk about how they're firebenders trying to conquer Ba Sing Se, knowing that the Dai Li are listening. And that leads to the Dai Li apprehending them, bringing them to Long Feng because they're loyal to Long Feng instead of the Earth King. And then Azula already knows this about Long Feng and the Dai Li.
It reminds me of a line that like hit for me. I remember like as like a kid when I was like just terrified of Azula. Long Feng is like, "You beaten me at my own game," and then Azula's like, "You're not even a player," and it was like, shoot.
Yeah.
And then having Azula just killed everybody and put her own like Fire Nation in or something like that, and then.
And then they don't have the drill of Ba Sing Se's outer wall at all.
They didn't have the drill. Yeah, that was the biggest.
That was one of my favorite parts about book 2 because you see Aang and Katara use the water to cut through the metal, and then it's my favorite action scene of Aang when he
like drops into. But then you also see like Aang versus Azula for the first time, and how he like low-key outplays her just by like sticking to his roots, I guess you could say, and like his mastery of earthbending, but. They didn't do the drill. I know, it was such a...
And then that also doesn't help convince King Kwai at the end, because that's a big selling point for King Kwai, even though that whole interaction in the animated series is a little clunky, how they convince King Kwai to join the battle against the Fire Nation. But then it works because it's how Azula gets back into the picture after we see what happens with the Tales of Ba Sing Se, how she commandeered the Kyoshi identity. So it's just a mess of...
And then real quick, like with Azula, and I think when she confronted Suki and the Kyoshi warriors, there was a moment where like Azula like lightning bends and like Suki like hits it with a fan. I was like,
Suki should be dead. Based on how
Suki
they
should have been
characterize,
exploded into a million pieces if that happened. But it was like that classic, hi-ya! And I was like, no. In the cartoon, it was like when they found Appa, and then Azula like caught onto him. It was like this super cool still, like about to like navigate around her, and I don't think that they, I feel like they did the lightning too quick. Like now Azula just only does lightning basically or something. Like it wasn't. It wasn't like brought up as like a very like high level form of firebending. Azula just able to kind of just do it, and it's like, okay, why doesn't she just use lightning all the time now or something like that? And you don't like that puts like a tactical advantage for her over everybody else. That just makes it seem like almost unbeatable to a certain degree. And so it's like, what would Suki even do like in this fight, right?
Well, yeah, based on how they characterize Azula, Suki should be dead. And then even at the end of season 1 of the live action, I believe they showed Azula lightning bending at the end versus what you get introduced to her as in animated book 2. Mm-hmm. She's practicing her bending and she's off by a hair. And that's what her aunties basically tell her is like, oh, excellent, but off by a hair. And she's furious about it because she's a perfectionist. So it already tells you so much about her character. And it's just everything that they did with Azula.
Everything that they're just doing.
My 1B favorite character. Completely missed the mark. And
in the quick side with the bending too, I haven't seen Zuko use fire daggers yet. Is that like not a thing? Did that happen in season 1? I can't even remember. Nope. But Zuko was always like, and just like the fire coming out, just like ready to. What are they doing, Jared? I'm sorry I made you watch this, man. I just don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was just very disheartening because they tried to make Azula sympathetic because both she and Zuko see their mom being taken away when that didn't happen because Zuko's not supposed to know what happened to his mom because she just disappears. And they try to make Azula sympathetic in that she wanted to be getting more attention by her mom. And it just doesn't work in the live action. Even her attempts to win Zuko back to her side at the end of the show, in the live action, it rings hollow because she has him right there to kill him with her blue fire.
How long are we gonna play this game when you've been loyal to your dad this whole time?
Which is also weird because Ozai actually wanted to redeem Zuko in episode 1 of live action episode 1, season 2. Because he sends Azula to just bring him back. Because he says, no, my family needs to be back in order. Zuko is no longer cast away. But then in the animated show, he sends Azula to capture him as a prisoner for violating his decree or whatever. So it's just a mess. And even in that sequence, in that flashback for Zuko, he kills the wrong dragon. He kills the red dragon.
He killed the red one. Yeah, he killed the red dragon.
Which is supposed to be representative of Iroh, the good one, in the animated. Obviously, they don't contextualize it the same way in the live action, but it's like those details are just missed. And it's like the show just didn't realize the meaningfulness of the animated.
And then they just throw them in whenever they can in the new context that they made. And it's just kind of like, this is just messy. Like they do the tale of the two dragons. And I'm like, wasn't there two dragons, but that like Aang and Zuko were supposed to learn fire bending from? Is that what we're doing right now? And then, he kills the red one. And it was just like, isn't that the dragon that Zuko feels most affinity towards or something? Did they just keep the blue dragon alive because Zuko's also the blue spirit or something like that? And it was just such a whole. And then Azula's interpretation of like the two dragons thing is like these dragons were brothers. It's like, oh, I have to kill Zuko now. And it was like,
it's odd because it's like, it just seems like the show just doesn't realize what they're doing with the Azula character. Like you want to make her a ruthless, very driven, strong woman, but you're just making her
very cold.
But you're just making her a psychopath that's reckless and gets that the plot happens for her by convenience alone, rather than skillful deliberation. So it was just a mess. And obviously we could talk a lot more about Azula. Like they messed up too when she in that first meeting where she's like, "Oh, I've given up," but then she shoots Iroh.
Yeah.
She hits him with lightning.
Yeah. In
the heart, and he survives.
Instead of fire, right?
Instead of fire, like they did in the animated show.
And if we're gonna finish out with just one more point here on Azula, when she fires lightning at Aang in the Avatar state, I remember seeing a thing about how like Aang's wounds were like from his back into his foot, because like the lightning traveled through, but there was like a symbolism behind it of like Aang never kept in mind like what was coming or something like that. I don't know. It was like a parallel between Zuko and Aang, where Zuko faced his whole thing like head on and got burned for it, and then like Aang kept avoiding it and got shot in his back like with the lightning. And,
well, because in the animated, he's raising up in the Avatar state because he let go of Katara, and how it's seemingly framed is he's in a different place. So when he's raising up, Azula's technically behind him. So she shoots him with the lightning because he's none the wiser, and he thinks he's invincible in the Avatar state. Obviously, he knows that if he dies in the Avatar state, it's all over, but he didn't think that would happen.
And then you have his whole Avatar state at the end of the fight where he has them all. He's like choking out Azula and then just throws her, and then Azula just shoots lightning like that. Like I'm like, doesn't lightning have like a cultivation time where you had to like shoot
it's also weird because he's able to dodge lightning. He dodges her first strike. So he's technically able to be so fast that he dodges lightning. But then it was part of me that was conflicted because I almost like that because you saw Aang being ruthless, because that's kind of how they were characterizing him in the live action, that he's regretful, very reserved about his power. Yeah. They didn't really earn it because they didn't show him being fearful of using the Avatar state. They didn't earn that. So then by the end, when he used it, you're convinced that, dude, you had multiple opportunities to kill Azula, which he doesn't really have a problem with killing people when it's the Fire Nation, so conveniently. But
and he almost like, you see how many times he's activated like the Avatar state. It's like, where's Appa? Avatar state.
Without any real consequences. So you don't believe him when he's supposed to be conflicted about not wanting to use it, because he doesn't get the context about using it in the outer rim of Ba Sing Se when the general wants to trigger it.
Forces him into it after like pretending to kill Katara, and he just freaks out. And it's
you don't get it with the Sandbenders when he's vengeful about Appa.
Yeah, and that whole sequence.
Let's do it. That was I posted about it on X.